Hello and welcome to Student Affairs Live, the weekly web show for student affairs professionals and higher education. Tune in to Student Affairs Live every other Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Higher Ed Live is produced by M. Stoner, a marketing and communication firm that works with educational experience institutions on branding, strategy, web design, and more. Join in on the conversation on Twitter by searching for and tweeting to the hashtag HigherEdLive. I'm your host, Chris Butler. I'm joining you from Georgia Southern University. During 2014, I'll be acting as co-host of Student Affairs Live with Heather Shea Gasser from Michigan State University. Each year, our rec centers are bursting with people this time of year who've got New Year resolutions to improve their health and wellness, which is wonderful, but unfortunately often short-lived. Research shows that lifestyle choices play a significant role in managing stress, preventing disease, and improving quality of life, not to mention our impact on healthcare costs. So how can we promote cultures of wellness on our campuses throughout the year? To help answer that question, we've got 4 guests who are fitness and wellness experts in higher education. They're going to share their knowledge and wisdom with us today. I'm excited to have a great mix of both employee and student wellness professionals, as well as the urban and rural campuses represented today. Thank you all for taking your time to share with us today. As you introduce yourself, give us a background on your role within the institution, and we'll begin with Cheryl.
Good afternoon. I'm Cheryl Johnson Ransaw, Director of the Office of Employee Development and Wellness Services, which is a human resources unit here at Georgia State. We coordinate a wellness program, worksite resources, and an internal employee assistance program, which is an EAP for faculty, staff, retirees, as well as eligible dependents.
And my name is Caroline Dotz, and I am the Assistant Director of Fitness here at Georgia State University Student Recreation Center. Basically, my role here in the facility is to oversee not only our fitness attendants that take care of the day-to-day operations of our facility, but our graduate students that are our personal trainers and that run the programming through our fitness center, and also a nutrition counselor, graduate assistant that runs those types of programs through our fitness center.
Welcome, Georgia State University. Now we'll go out to Stephen F. Austin in Nacogdoches, Texas.
Hi, my name is Kate Bridges, and I'm the Fitness and Wellness Coordinator for Campus Recreation here at Stephen F. Austin State University. And my role is to manage several graduate students who then manage the day-to-day operations of the rec center. So we have fitness assistants that manage the floor, personal trainers, and a group exercise program. And then we also have a wellness program that we run for the students. So I have wellness students and then a massage therapist that I supervise as well.
And I'm Jessica Wagsback. I'm the Employee Wellness Coordinator here at Stephen F. Austin State University. I've only been here 3 weeks. This is my 3rd week. Very new. But I do the day-to-day employee wellness programs from pitching an idea to implementing it to evaluating it. I have 2 interns that Kate and I will be sharing that want the corporate wellness background, but want a little fitness experience as well.
Great. Thank you all again for being with us. I understand it's a really busy time with the spring semester just getting started up, and everyone's really, really busy. So thanks again. As a reminder to those who are watching, we'll be monitoring Twitter for your questions using the hashtag HigherEdLive. And let's start with a really tough question that seems simple, but what is wellness? When you Google wellness, you see a lot of fitness information, but I know that's not all there is to it. So let's start off with Cheryl.
Well, when we talk about wellness, we really think about balancing mind, body, and spirit. And as we are really evolving our program at Georgia State, we have been looking at expanding on the different dimensions of wellness. So we really like to think in terms of several different aspects of wellness, which has also been growing as well. But it's not as simple as just fitness or just health, but it is one that encompasses a broad range of different dimensions.
What dimensions do you focus on at Georgia State?
Well, that's going to vary. We really try to offer a variety of programs and services, and we recognize that our population is pretty diverse. So when we look at programming, we try to offer a lot of different aspects of services and activities that will include physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, financial, occupational, and those are some key areas or dimensions of wellness that we consider as we do some program planning.
Okay. Kate and Jessica, at Stephen F. Austin, what are your views of what makes a well-rounded wellness program?
Well, I definitely agree with Cheryl that it's a balance. It's more than just your physical or nutritional health of your body. It's all those areas that it's a whole lifestyle of how you're doing it. And at Stephen F. Austin, we came up with a wellness model where we recognize 7 main dimensions of wellness, which would be intellectual, career, financial, spiritual, emotional, physical, sociocultural, and environmental health. And so we try to offer programs. We built those with partners across campus who are invested in that, so that it really is getting the whole campus to buy into a model and what do we really value here at SFA for our students and employees.
Okay, great. So what are some of the challenges to creating this culture of wellness? Have either one of you met any challenges on your campus to creating the culture of wellness? And we'll begin with Caroline on this question.
Some of the challenges, especially for Georgia State, we are located in downtown Atlanta, is getting students and really employees, faculty and staff to realize that there is a service that's available to them. We try to put as much programming and ideas out there, but getting students and getting the faculty and staff to buy in, since a lot of them are commuting in from a broad range around Atlanta. So getting them to buy in and stay here and work on their wellness profile, I guess, has been a huge challenge for us. We have seen that with the addition of more residence halls on campus and some more active programming. I know employee development has got a Panther Perks program that they're launching, has been successful, and we've got some student campaigns that we try to do that have been successful, but just getting the word out and sustaining that word through the new batch of students has been probably our biggest challenge to creating the culture that we're looking for.
Okay. And at Stephen F. Austin, I mean, have you met any resistance to creating this culture on your campus?
You know, one thing that's across the board with employee wellness is, the old habits die hard when adults, especially adults, they've been in the same habit for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and all of a sudden you're saying to better your health, you should do X, Y, Z. We'll receive a little bit of resistance with this, but really one of our challenges is all the different shifts from, the early morning shift to the employees that work the normal 8 to 5 to those that work very late shifts, the weekend shifts, and being able to offer classes, lectures, instructor programs that are available to all of them is very difficult, because you don't want to leave anyone out, but you know that you can't ever work for everyone across the board. So that's definitely one of the challenges in like Georgia State. It's really the buy-in from not only the employees but also buy-in from the management and putting these resources and time and dedication to this type of program.
That's interesting. I want to go back to Cheryl as our human resource representative here on today's episode. Have you met any resistance at that, or what are some of the challenges from an employee-only standpoint that you've seen at Georgia State?
Well, let me first say that our formal program is fairly new, relatively speaking. We've just completed our 5th year as a formal worksite wellness program within our human resources unit. We've certainly historically been offering a lot of different health and wellness initiatives for many, many years, and partnering with some of the other academic groups and the recreation center and rec services department and others. But in terms of our formal program, it's fairly new, so we're considered a work in progress. We're still really trying to build and expand on our support, both just in terms of the stakeholders and recognizing that we need as much support from all levels within our campus, and getting the buy-in from the employee side. Certainly that means that we know that the program, one size doesn't fit all. So it keeps coming back to, first of all, trying to get input from our employees, and we've done a couple of surveys in the past couple of years and had some help from one of our graduate student groups within the College of Business to help us do some research on return on investment. So we're collecting a lot of data and talking within our university system too about establishing the culture of wellness across the board within the school system. So we feel like we're on a good path, and the longer that we've tried to stay the course and build on the support of, and certainly connecting with the student groups, that's been a key factor, just not looking exclusively at employee wellness, but looking at the campus wellness. That's been a really key factor.
I think most would agree with you that all wellness on campus is a work in progress. I know it certainly is here at Georgia Southern. And you actually created a perfect segue to my next question, is that we talked about why wellness is important, but how do you sell to administration to put resources behind this? Why is it so important, maybe for people who are at home who are trying to get resources to start a program like this? What's some advice you would give them to getting that started? We'll start with Cheryl here again.
With me? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Well, I'm open to input from others as well, and certainly there's not any quick and easy answer to that. Certainly resources are key, and looking at the size of the population you're serving is key, and what we're finding that we're being asked for a lot of hard data. You know, sometimes the bottom line is what people are looking for in terms of numbers of people participating in our offerings. So we do put together a lot of metrics reports as we're trying to make the case. But that too is not a simple matter, and it's not just about numbers, but we are certainly, again, collaborating with other groups to try to help focus in on what's relevant in terms of our population and our needs. So again, we are establishing some partnerships that have been solid in terms of the campus and within the community. And we actually have a campus wellness committee called Healthy State, and I think that has served us well in terms of building the cross promotion and support from other entities as we are trying to make the case for establishing and requesting additional resources for what we're trying to do.
Okay, Jessica and Kate, at CBNF Austin, what do you think some of the benefits are, and how do you make the case for resources behind wellness programs?
Well, I would say definitely we know there's research is still being done on this as far as the benefits of wellness on students' academic performance, just in their lives, and also for faculty and staff. So that's still pretty new, but we do know that it increases their productivity, their quality of work, their energy, their health, and then that trickles down. So with the faculty and staff, then they're able to invest more into their classes, and then the students as well into their classes and their work, and just creating a balance so that when they leave, that they're well-rounded, and it's not just the academic side, but they're financially, they know what they're going to do, and they know how to support that social side and emotionally stress relief. So that a lot of it is looking for data across the country of where we can prove, because again, they want the numbers, they want to know, well, how is this, so justifying that. So looking across, doing a lot of work with Healthy Campus 2020 of establishing some of those benchmarks and looking at that, but also then doing surveys on campus and what are they getting out of this. We have the participation numbers, but we want to know more, is there a tie with participation in campus recreation activities and GPA? Are those students doing better academically? Are they, what is their energy? So really trying to do some evaluation and assessment of our programs to get that. I think that's a huge pull as far as justifying our programming and for more resources for it. As far as employee wellness, since this is a pretty new position for us, we just took over, Campus Recreation took over employee wellness in May. It was a part-time position, and we were able to bring a full-time person on for it, but part of that mission is the first thing we did was pull together, again, people from human resources, health services, the physical plant, so try and get a lot of those entities on campus that are invested and put together an advisory board so that we can get that buy-in, get those people who are there who have those contacts, and then we can create it as a campus and really get more steam behind it than just us trying to say, we need this, we're recreation, but we have people from all areas of campus also advocating and buying in for it.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of the differences between students and faculty as far as the challenges that approach to each, and maybe some tips to meet these challenges between the two of them. Jessica, do you want to start and take this one?
You know, I'll touch on the faculty part and let Kate touch on the student side of it. Really, you know, I had mentioned it earlier, you know, one of the biggest challenges with working with, you know, the staff and the faculty is the different shifts from the early morning to the 8 to 5ers to the evening. You know, all of our professors, a lot of them work a 9-month while, our 8 to 5s work a 12-month calendar. That's definitely one of the challenges. Another thing is really the large age gap between all of our employees. We have some that are right out of high school that are starting to work on the campus to those that are working here all the way up until their retirement. So we have a huge, you know, from 18 to age 60 that, you know, we have to work with, and what a 18-year-old is interested is very different from what a 40-year-old is interested in health-wise or financial-wise, spiritually. It's you know, difficult sometimes. And then you have your education with, you know, those that they have their high school diploma. We have those that have their PhD that work at the university. And it's trying to really have programs that are interesting and important to all of those different types of employees with their ages and their education level. I'll let you, Kate.
I would say some of the differences between working with the students and the faculty and staff and having programs is students are more concerned with more of the physical. They want to look good. They want spring break. They're not really thinking their long-term health there. And with the faculty staff, they're thinking more, or the employees, they're more wanting their health. They're either being told by a doctor, you need to get involved with something or do something for your stress, or, you know, getting off medication, or something hurts. Right. So the priorities are different. And so I think it's just really trying to offer a variety of programming so we can reach all of those. So we have some physical, but again, it's not just coming into the gym. It's we can come to you. Is it just stretching? Do you want to dance? Like, just trying to offer programming that hits such a wide variety so that any interest, you know, we can jump in there and hit that.
What about Georgia State, Caroline?
Georgia State's, I would say, a little different than a non-traditional. Our students range from 18 to 60, and our employees range from 18 to 60. So we really have, and beyond, really. So we really have a melting pot of different cultures, different ages, different interests. So the main difference, I think, that we've seen here at the Rec Center has been the cost of our programs. And you'll find more of the faculty staff that have a little bit more money in their paycheck to do things. We'll do some of our paid programming, like personal training, and like some of our instructional clinics that we charge a minimal fee for. But because we are a student recreation center, we are student focused, and so 99% of our programming is geared towards our students. And we, of course, welcome faculty and staff to join us, but we're going to create that program with the student in mind. So we're offering those classes that appeal to their physical nature. I want to look good for spring break, and, you know, Kate said it great. But we're also trying to keep our costs low by implementing the student fees we receive from the students to put on a wide variety of programming. And the main thing is just trying to let the students, educate the students, and let them know that fitness and wellness is more than coming in and getting on the treadmill. And I think getting over that hurdle to say playing intramurals is a workout and is a great way to maintain your health levels, or coming in and using the rock wall or taking a fitness class. Just letting them know there's a lot more options that don't cost any money that the students can get involved with than coming in and getting on the treadmill. So the faculty and staff seem to catch on to that a little bit faster because they want, I guess they've been on the treadmill now for a lot of their adult life, so they're ready for something new, whereas the students are kind of just starting out, and so they feel the safest coming in and doing something that's already laid out for them. So some of the challenges we're trying to overcome is just that educational piece to say playing flag football for 60 minutes you may even burn more calories than taking a dance class or doing something like that, and letting them know that it's all of it is fitness, all of it contributes to health and wellness.
Great. Plus, we talked about how we're trying to educate some of the employees and some of the things they can do that students are already naturally doing or students maybe are weary of. What aspects of employee and student wellness can be applied to the other, or are they just completely separate beasts? We'll begin with Kate.
All right. I think there's definitely differences in them, but I think the goal or the basics are the same. It's offering, they need the same. We all need to establish and fill these buckets or these areas of wellness and have those priorities. So I think a lot of the programming are very similar that we do, and it's more of the way, how do we market that, or the times that we're offering it, or the ability, again, Jessica and I work really closely on where we'll have health fairs, or we did a puppy palooza for the students where they could come and pet puppies at the rec center during finals week last term, and they loved it, and just take a break out of their day, and they don't really think of that as wellness, but just offering some stress relief for them. And similar things where maybe we'll have a self-defense class or a safety at home, but we do it separately, so there's a different time for the students and there's a different time for the faculty and staff. But again, I think a lot of those programs are integral and everyone can benefit from them. So it's just more of looking at those specific needs of the students of, okay, well, they want to come work out after classes in the evenings, later at night. Well, faculty and staff, employees, they have families to get home to, they have other obligations, so they're like, no, I want it early in the morning or at noon, where I can just run, or right after work. So I think more of it is the timing and the structure and kind of how we market to those to where it's more health benefits, or to the students it's like, okay, we're going to get you to look good for spring break, but this is also going to benefit you X, Y, and Z. So you hit those main words, but then you, like Caroline said, get that education in so that hopefully they're starting to see that bigger picture.
I can't believe I'm a stereotype now. As I get older, I'm that noon crowd. If I don't do it at lunch, it's over for me that day. Being from a corporate wellness background, Jessica, what would you say, even from corporate wellness, can be applied to higher ed, to maybe our students and our faculty and staff?
It's really the same thing, and it's the same challenges. In corporate wellness, we didn't really touch any type of students. We touched the adults, but I came from working at a municipality entity where we had 12,000 employees. So we had some that worked 24-hour shifts, 48-hour shifts. We had those that worked a normal 8 to 5, and also with a municipality. With corporate wellness, we were spread out across a whole city. We didn't have a campus per se. We didn't have a building per se. Our campus was literally the city as a whole. But it's the same type of challenges of getting their buy-in quickly and offering type of programs that they're interested in. There's no really difference. It's just it's different marketing, like Kate had said.
So what about at Georgia State? Do you see these similarities, Cheryl and Caroline?
Want to go first?
Well, I wanted to touch on the factor of education being so key for all of the groups that we're serving, both the students and the employees, whether it's here in higher ed, and I've done some private sector work as well. I think the biggest challenge we've faced as we've tried to put a program together that really helps meet the needs of people is addressing some of the history that people have historically been, I think, neglecting themselves I dare to say. And as we've looked at rising healthcare costs, claims, that's really helped make the case for people to look at the fact that prevention and early intervention is key. And so the more that people proactively get involved as we're trying to educate them, that certainly can make the difference in terms of reducing major medical costs that they might incur later on. And so as we have joined forces, again, with other groups and really seen that it's not necessarily a separate kind of program that works best, it really is about coming together and communicating. And certainly there may be different programs that are targeted toward different groups, age groups, or special interest or needs, but the communication and working together has just been the most successful we've found.
And I think Cheryl touched on it, especially for Georgia State, and every university is different, but I would say the employee and the student line is blurred. It's more about special interest, like she was saying. So we'll have a tobacco cessation special interest group, or self-defense, or physical fitness, or something, relaxation, meditation, massage type crowd. But we get interest from both sides, student or employee, and it's more about the special interest of what they're interested in. But she did bring up another interesting point that I've witnessed just this semester in the 2 weeks we've been open. We are seeing more faculty staff purchase memberships, because we don't offer them for free to our faculty staff. They do have to pay. The students are free with their student fees, but the faculty staff have to pay. And so I've had a lot of faculty staff come into the fitness center and say, I need to get training because my health insurance is rising. I want to do what I can to prevent having to go to the doctor or anything like that. So we're seeing a lot more faculty staff take advantage of our programming because the rising cost of healthcare. So that's kind of been interesting to see with this whole new switch and change in the political side of things, to see them coming in more. So.
Sure. I mean, I think that's great if they're being proactive to try to curb some of that.
Yeah.
Cheryl, you brought up a really good point at the education point. I know you were talking about how your area collaborates a lot on campus and creates these partnerships. Really, what are some examples of these collaborations and these programs that you've done across Georgia State's campus?
Well, one thing we like to say in terms of our program, we have tried to be innovative and working really on a shoestring budget. It's been a win-win to reach across campus to other groups and programs to collaborate, so that there's an opportunity for us to serve primarily employees, but because we are opening up all of our offerings for the most part for students as well, there's a benefit for students. So historically, early on, we've done a lot of work with tobacco use, and as was mentioned, we offer cessation, but we had a major breakthrough in becoming a tobacco-free campus a couple of years ago, and I think that came as a result of some partnering and cross-support. And so we've worked with rec services, we've worked with respiratory therapy. Graduate students have had an opportunity to get some formal and informal internship opportunities through our programs, like helping to teach tobacco cessation. We've worked with School of Nursing. Nursing students have participated in some of our health screening programs and health fairs, so students have a chance to get some practical learning experiences. Employees get the benefit of the free screenings. We've worked with the Department of Nutrition as well in terms of offering some nutritional education and screening. So we've just looked to explore ways that students can gain some practical learning experiences, and employees may gain opportunities to take advantage of programs at either no cost or low cost. So that's our win-win.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are great. I think it's wonderful that you got the tobacco-free campus pushed through. I think Georgia State was one of the pioneers, and interestingly, the entire state is up for vote now that all our campuses may be tobacco-free soon. So we're excited to follow that. Kate, what about at Stephen F. Austin?
Well, again, there wasn't really any set wellness done on campus. I've been here for a year, and then, with employee wellness just taking over, it was mainly just the physical side. They focused on, having some classes and that. So we're really in this unique area where we've been in the last year really creating those collaborations and reaching across campus to offer more services. So, working with health services to see what their programming is. I don't really feel like I need to reinvent the wheel, but actually look at those resources that are on campus that then we can work together and pull from. So, like, school business, finance, to offer some financial workshops or classes for students and faculty staff. Counseling services has been great. We've done a lot with them for some body image workshops for students and suicide prevention and just some of those issues that come up with them. I work with Aramark Dining Services. We have a registered dietitian who works on campus who is in charge of the dining halls, but then she also sees students one-on-one and in groups. So she and I have done a lot of presentations. She's actually housed in Campus Rec, which is awesome. Massage therapy, so I'll take chair massages out to the different departments, again, utilize my staff and take them out. But again, we're really looking on creating those collaborations with our School of Nursing, bringing maybe flu shots or cholesterol blood screenings to the employees, so we can do that. I had a health fair this fall that we worked with and pulled in a lot of the environmental groups on campus too, because there's a lot of little ones, but we want to get them together because they'll have a stronger voice that way. So kind of pulling in all those, not only on campus, but also community partners too, that the students don't even realize, or faculty staff that they have access to or that are around there. So it's just kind of creating, yeah, I think I'm starting to ramble now, so I'm going to stop.
I'm glad you brought up the point about the community. We have a wellness fair here on campus each year, and that's something that we hear every single year, that they didn't realize what was in the community around campus that could really assist them, and that the resources that were available to them, they were really only focused on, what's within student affairs and, the things that they know immediately, they learn about in orientation, but they're not aware of what's out in the community around their colleges and universities. I keep hearing all of you talk about how to communicate and educate. What are some of the best ways to communicate these wellness services to your faculty and staff? I know on our campus, that's one of the most challenging groups to reach, is a faculty and staff member, especially those 8 to 5ers who come in, they're in their office, and then they may go home, they have families, and you're competing for their time. So do you have any tricks or resources for how to reach them? And we start with Caroline this time, since she's laughing.
Yeah, gosh, I don't know the best answer for that. We, at the rec center, we kind of struggle with this too, but one thing that we do put out every single semester is a program guide. We call it our wrap-up, and it lists everything that we're doing for the semester, and we're very determined to make sure that every building on campus has that it's very accessible to have people locate that brochure and flip through it and find out exactly what they want. And we just try to be mobile. I think Kate said it too, that they go out to different departments, and we try to be the same way. We do try to collaborate with different departments on campus, so we're getting more exposure outside of the rec center. Because once you get to the rec center, we got you. We know we have you. You're in there. You're going to do something, whether it's coming in and just using the sauna for 20 minutes, which people do, or actually staying and getting a workout. So our main goal is to try to get people to come to us. And so some of the ways we've done that is those brochures around campus, really being present on Facebook and Instagram, and pushing our website as much as we can so we can reach those that maybe commute and need a way to find us quickly. And then just going out and doing stuff on campus and representing the rec center to come back to us.
Okay. Jessica, what do you think at CBNF Austin, in your short time you've been there, what are some of the more successful ways to reach out to these different groups on campus?
Well, one of the things that we utilize that comes out daily is our SFA Today, and that's all employees get it. It's electronically, so for those that may not have a university email or that don't check it, don't read it, we're missing out on them. But one thing that we do a little bit, but I really want to expand it, is during new employee orientation, a representative from Campus Rec, the facilities area, he goes and says, this is the pricing for course students are free, GAs are free. For employees, this is the cost for you, for your dependent spouses, costs for them. Well, I really want to go there and say, okay, you know, you're an employee. This is what is available to you as employee wellness as a whole. We did that at my last job. We went out every other Monday was a class, and you reached them as soon as they got onto campus versus they've been here 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. They had no idea what we have to offer for them. We have a website that is slowly kind of getting the word out there of, you can find all of your information there. We also have a wellness participation form that says, okay, this is what I'm interested in. So we've really started to really utilize that of, if Kate marked yoga, and I know that Kate is interested in yoga, I'm going to send her any type of emails, any type of announcements, notices about yoga versus John, he said he's interested in a basketball class or maybe meditation. I'll send him communications regarding that type of interest.
Are you using some kind of specific software to manage that? I mean, that's got to be a lot of people with very specific interest.
We use, all of the forms come in, either they scan them in to email it to us, they fax it to us, or they bring it by, but we keep them in Access.
Okay.
And that was actually already set up prior to me coming here. Kate showed it to me, and it's data entry, so it's tedious, but it's well used.
And it's still a small group. Our employee wellness, again, it was managed by a part-time employee, so it's a dedicated group, but it's very small. So that's one of our goals, is to really reach out and get more of the campus involved and more of the faculty staff. And just to piggyback off of what Jessica said, we use a lot of social media again, and I agree with Caroline completely. It's like once they come in, like, to the center, they're inundated, like they know everything that's going on and that access, but it's reaching those students and faculty staff that don't come in, that aren't intrinsically motivated to seek out some kind of fitness or exercise or social or recreational programming. And so the best that I've found through all of that is still just going out to departments, talking to different classes, different teachers, just making more contacts across campus and really getting out there and letting them know these services are available. And once that word of mouth starts spreading, then you just have more people. I mean, it's like a wildfire, it just goes. So really going out and being there, we promote all of our events out on like the main plaza area. So we stick students out there, and they have flyers and they have candy, whatever it is, and they are just handing out things and telling people we'll have music out there. So it's really just getting out
there, getting away from campus.
I think so, yeah.
That sounds like a great way to start, though. What about you, Cheryl? Do you have any tips for communicating and reaching out to faculty and staff specifically?
Well, I was shaking my head and just wanting to say ditto, listening to Kate and Jessica share, because everything that they mentioned that they are doing, we've pretty much been attempting to do as well. I was kind of late getting here today because we had our new employee orientation, which is a monthly meeting, but we had 50+ new employees, and so we have an opportunity to go there and present about our services, and you're so right that it's so key to try to get the word out to the new employees, and they can get started earlier than later. We're also establishing what we call a wellness champions group. So we're trying to not only do the outreach in terms of our staff and those partners working with us to go out and talk to different departments, but we find the more we can get other employees to help us in our efforts and take a more active role in not only just helping promote the programs, but to help plan some of the programs, that makes a difference. So that's something new that we've been introducing just in the last several months, and want to expand on that. But we also have what we call our Wellness on Wheels. So that just literally means we have a cart that we roll around, but we will come to people, and we try to reduce all excuses for people not to be able to come to us for programming. So we will certainly book those, or park either outdoors or on a day like today indoors to pass out information about what we're doing. And social media is certainly growing, and we recognize that as we're trying to reach a lot of different age groups, as well as people who just have different interests and different ways that they like to communicate, that's here to stay. So we're trying to do more on Facebook and Twitter in terms of promoting our offerings.
And Chris, I will follow up to say, because this might be an idea for those that are watching from other universities, we were able to work out the rec center being a hosting site for our what do you call it? New student orientations for, it's called INSEPT here at Georgia State. And basically all incoming freshmen have to go through INSEPT. Most universities now have this orientation where they come in and they get their ID cards and they register for classes and they sit through all these presentations. One cool thing that we've done is allowed our site in the morning to be the check-in site. And so all these students are coming in. We've got 100 students typically plus freshmen and transfers. And so we're the hosting site from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And they come in and they can check in through that whole process. But in the meantime, as soon as they're checked in, they have an hour to kill before their next session starts at 8. So we offer tours. And we bring in the pro staff and some of our GAs, but mainly the pro staff come in and we offer tours of the facility. So we're talking about our programs and we're meeting with those freshmen and those transfer students. And we don't get all of them. Not everybody goes on the tour. It's not mandatory, but we're hitting a huge pocket of all those influx of students. And that was something as simple as saying, hey, we know you have this need. Let us be your host site for check-in, for registration, and then y'all to go about and do your day. So there's no extra programming on our part. Just we have a couple staff that we sign up for shifts and come in and give those tours, or before our day begins at 7 a.m. But that buy-in has really helped us, and we see a lot of these freshmen come back when school starts and say, oh, yeah, I did a tour. Oh, yeah, you talked about classes. I want to do that. And it's also a great way to get student employees, because we definitely pump up, hey, this is a great place to work, too. So it's a good feeding ground for that as well.
I would second that, because I know we are really protective of our involvement in our orientation here at Georgia Southern. It's called SOAR, but we host a first night out. So after day one of orientation, they come over and spend the evening, several hours in our facility for games and pick up free play. But we can't discount how important it is to our program. They see our facilities and then they come back when they get here in the fall. And so I think you're exactly right on that. So as we're slowly running out of time, so I want to get a kind of closing thoughts on any advice that you would have to those out there who are looking to take the first steps toward creating these new programs. And I guess we'll throw back out to Stephen F. Austin and start with Jessica, and we'll go to all four of you to get these closing thoughts.
Yeah, one thing that kind of got started right before I had even got here was really getting your advisory board identified and whether or not you meet immediately, but getting those important groups from the higher up management to human services, like Kate said, human resources, student affairs, all the groups around campus, not just one particular group. You don't want just this group or just that group. Just really having a great variety of individuals there. I would say start off with your advisory group. The other thing is, which they had also done right before I had got here, was see what your students want, see what your faculty want with a needs assessment. It's a great idea. It's not something that you just have to do once and okay, I did one 10 years ago. It's still the same needs. You can do it. Whether or not it's once a year, twice a year, or once, annually, or maybe every 2 years, 3 years. Really, you don't want to just kind of, a shot in the dark. You really want to make sure that the programs that you're going with are what your population is wanting, and it's when they want it, and it's what they're interested in, and their needs and their wants. And anything, yeah. Kate?
Yeah, I just agree with what Jessica said. Is first you've got to kind of define, or I think it helps to define what wellness is for your campus, and get that verbiage so that everybody's on the same page there, and that you have that buy-in from the rest of campus too, because you'll be much stronger if you're advocating from all sides than, you know, if, like, feel like we're campus rec trying to push activity on everybody, and they're like, oh, there's campus rec people there.
Exercise.
Leave us alone, yes. But so really creating that verbiage, getting the wellness like defined kind of on your campus of what areas are important, and then you can establish that. And then just getting out there, and it's like, okay, what are the barriers, finding that out, doing a needs assessment, and then breaking those barriers down one by one. If it's that they don't want it, they can't come across campus, find a way to go to them. Reaching out to people like Caroline, a great idea, like with orientation, we're involved with that as well. We go around to all the residence halls and talk to them and the RAs that are right there that have to provide programming for their halls and give them those options. Because again, if you're in a resource book as a resource, they might flip through the book or they might not. They're going to go with what they know. But if you actually go out and make that connection, they're like, oh, I remember that person. Oh, yeah, we could do a Zumba class or yoga or have a personal trainer come talk to our sorority. So I think just getting out there then is key.
Yeah, and I share an office with the dietitian, and we have a partition between us, and I heard a student come by and say, you came and talked to my class last semester, and you told us, come look for me if you're interested in, and that's what he was doing. And it was, she went out there herself versus just having it on a web or, you know, a poster up on the wall. And
I know we're running out of time. One of the other things that I'm sure you guys probably have, like a student, I don't know, we have like an SFA 101 class which all freshmen are required to take, and it's sort of survival on campus, and that's another thing where we go around and talk to all those classes. And so it's those things where freshmen are required to be, or where employees are required to be. If you can make a presence there and be, you know, like the most fun, energetic, exciting, interesting part of that, then they'll come away remembering that.
I definitely agree that you make those personal contacts. As someone who works in marketing and student affairs, I'm always so disappointed that we have all these great things, these apps, these websites, these posters, and then I'll mention something in person. They're like, oh, I didn't know about that. You know, what have I been doing? So, but all it takes is that one conversation. So, Caroline, any closing thoughts on getting these started or advice?
Well, I would definitely say for those that are just starting out and I tell this people with their weight loss goals, and I think it transcends into programming goals, is start small. You're going to hear, you know, from Georgia State and from Stephen F. Austin, you know, we're established programs. But 12 years ago when we opened our building, we offered maybe a tenth of what we offer now. And so it's taken us a very long time to build our program and build the culture that we're looking for. So one good thing that we do in Campus Rec, and I'm about to say this word and everybody's going to know, is benchmark. What other universities the same size that you are doing, because if you are a tiny school and you're comparing your program to what Georgia State's offering, you're going to start out and be like, oh, we can't afford any of this, we can't do any of this. So see what other areas are doing that are your size and your same type of dynamic and culture, and then decide what they do, what's important for your program. What do you want that you could feasibly offer and prioritize that way. But start small, because if you start small and you have a solid foundation, everything else you add is going to be an extension of just better and better and better, instead of starting out huge and then saying, oh, we got to scale back, oh, we got to scale back, and then your program doesn't get the reputation of being good. Mm-hmm. So starting small and then cultivating, even if it's just with a couple of people, it'll spread. If you build it, they will come, but you got to start small and then do the add-ons later.
Cheryl, you've just started a program the last couple of years. What sort of advice or closing thoughts do you have?
Well, certainly patience is a virtue. I've been working with a lot of people who have a lot of energy and enthusiasm and commitment, and certainly those are key factors when you're talking about building a team or building a committee or a group of supporters to help you along the journey. But certainly it takes a lot of time, and as Caroline touched upon, I mean, starting small, trying to be realistic in the goals that you set, but being consistent with what you're trying to do, and I think trying to align with the university's strategic plan and mission and vision is certainly going to help you along the way, but certainly patience and knowing that it will take some time to get there.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone for taking the time to share with us today. I think we covered some great material and offered some valuable information. I want to remind everyone that Student Affairs Live returns on February 5th with Heather Shea Gassier discussing reinventing the convention experience and lessons for campus innovation. And I want to thank everybody for watching today.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Bye.